There's something that I've been noticing recently and I want to talk about it. I think this conversation really goes far beyond the beauty industry. Over the last few months, I've started noticing that some people in my industry have stopped interacting with my content. People who used to engage with my posts, who used to message me or text me, or people who used to ask for advice, ask questions, or talk about collaborating. And at first, I wondered if I had done something wrong. I mean, I'm an empath, so duh. But the more I reflected on it, the more I realized something really important. And that was that nothing is actually wrong. What's happening is something much deeper. My personal relationship with this industry has changed. And when your relationship with an industry changes, especially one that you've been part of for a really long time, the people still fully inside of that system sometimes don't quite know what to do with you anymore. For those who don't know, I've been in the beauty industry for over 15 years. I'm an esthetician. I've owned multiple spas. I've mentored other estheticians. I've trained people entering the field. I've hired employees and managed employees. I've built education programs. And even now, I still see clients and educate and mentor estheticians. So when I say my relationship with the beauty industry has changed, what I mean is I didn't leave the industry. I just stopped making it my entire identity. And that shift has been one of the most profound identity shifts in my career, but maybe in my whole life. Because for a long time, my entire life revolved around being an esthetician. My work, my content, and a lot of my relationships revolved around it. And at the time, that really felt completely normal. But over the years, I started noticing things about my industry that really made me pause. Things that just didn't quite sit right with me anymore. One of the biggest realizations I've had is that you can deeply respect a craft while also questioning the system around it. I still love skin. I still love the science behind it. I still love helping people feel confident. But I also started seeing how the beauty industry can sometimes place an enormous amount of pressure on women. Specifically women, pressure to constantly improve themselves, pressure to fix things about themselves, pressure to chase the next treatment, the next product, the next procedure. And a lot of those messages are wrapped in language about empowerment. But sometimes what's actually happening is insecurity being monetized. And once I started noticing that dynamic, I couldn't unsee it. It didn't mean that I hated the industry or hate the industry. It meant I was starting to just look at it more honestly. When you start speaking honestly about an industry that you're part of, two things usually happen. You have some people who resonate deeply with what you're saying, and then other people become very uncomfortable because many people tie their entire identity to their profession. So when someone questions the profession, it feels like a personal attack. But that's never been my intention. My intention has always been honesty, because honesty is how industries evolve. Over the years, I've also had experiences in the beauty industry that taught me a lot about intuition. Situations where I thought I was building relationships or collaborations with people, but something underneath the surface felt slightly off. At the same time, I ignored those feelings because in professional spaces, I think we're often taught to be agreeable, collaborative, and to keep the peace. But eventually you learn something important about intuition. If something feels off in the beginning, there's usually a reason for that feeling. And over time, I started realizing that not every professional interaction is actually about connection. Sometimes people are just looking for ideas. Sometimes people are just looking for advice. Sometimes people are looking for what they can gain from the relationship. And once you recognize those patterns, you start moving through your industry a lot differently. This is where the identity shift happened for me. I stopped pretending. I stopped pretending that everything about the industry just made sense to me. I stopped pretending that every relationship in the industry was genuine. And I stopped pretending that my entire identity needed to revolve around being an esthetician, because it doesn't. Yes, I am an esthetician, but I'm also someone who cares deeply about bigger conversations, about alignment, about personal growth, and conversations about the systems that we participate in. And once I allowed myself to expand beyond the traditional identity of the beauty industry, my work started expanding too. And I think that expansion makes some people uncomfortable, not because they're bad people, but because it really challenges the identity that they've built for themselves. If your identity is completely tied to your profession, then someone stepping outside of that identity, it can feel threatening. But choosing not to make your career your entire identity, it doesn't mean you hate your career. It just means you see yourself as more than your job title. This shift also helped me understand something that I didn't fully understand before. Over the years, I've seen people leave the beauty industry, and sometimes when they did, it felt like they were almost shunned. Like once they stepped away, they were just no longer part of the community. At the time, I didn't fully understand why that happened, but now I do. Because just like the Amish, when someone steps out of a system and starts speaking honestly about their experience inside that system, it creates a mirror. And not everyone wants to look in that mirror. I don't believe that the beauty industry is evil. I don't believe every brand is dishonest. I don't believe every professional is contributing to harmful dynamics. But I do believe the industry has enormous influence over how people see themselves. And any industry with that much influence deserves honest conversations, not just marketing, not just positivity, honesty. To the estheticians and beauty professionals watching this, I want to say something very important. You are allowed to love your craft. You're allowed to build beautiful businesses. You are allowed to care deeply about your clients. And you are also allowed to question things. You're allowed to speak honestly about the parts of the industry that just do not sit right with you. You are allowed to have a life and identity that exist outside of your career. For me, this identity shift has been about one simple realization. I just stopped pretending. I stopped pretending that my career needed to be my entire identity. I stopped pretending that questioning systems is negative or negativity. And I stopped pretending that honesty is something to be ashamed of, because honesty is how things evolve. And I believe that the beauty industry, like every industry, evolves through honest conversations, not silence or ignoring it. If you're someone who feels like you're going through your own identity shift right now, whether it's in your career, your industry, your life direction, that's something that I explore a lot in my alignment readings with my clients. Those sessions are designed to help people reflect on where they are, what's changing, and what direction they're being called toward next. If that resonates with you, you can book through the link in the description below. And if this conversation resonated with you, I'd love just to hear your thoughts in the comments. And don't forget to like and subscribe. I am so grateful to all of you who have helped start to grow this channel. I've gotten a lot of new subscribers recently. So I just want to say thank you for following along and just believing in just my message and what I have to say.